Okay, so we'll get going here and welcome everyone. Doug and Tia are out of town taking a much needed vacation. And I know they had some change of plans because originally they were going to Paris. And so last night they were scurrying around getting some changes made. But yeah, our prayer and our compassion go out to all that's happening everywhere else. But we're here and we're going to talk about the holidays. So I'm going to bring up a PowerPoint here for you. And we know that we can thrive through the holidays, but it doesn't happen by itself. We've got to be aware, we've got to be intentional, and it has to actually be what we want. So let's get this ready here, and I will screen share. Okay, is everyone good with that? Give me a little thumbs up. I can see Kevin H. and Heather, but that's good. So we are going to talk about thriving through the holidays because it does take personal planning. And if you don't have a pen and paper, I would just maybe tell you, why don't you grab one? There's going to be an idea either of something I say or something someone else says that's going to maybe spark something. You're like, okay, I got to remember that. So we'll have a lot of good strategies and tips as we go. And the main thing is just knowing what you want and arming yourself with all the ammunition to get there, right? And not letting it be by chance. So some people are saying, oh, I'll just wait till after the holidays, or, oh, I've been so great on my program, but it's the holidays now, so maybe I won't be as careful. That's where we have to be intentional of what we really want. So what is your plan for the holidays? There we go. What do you want for your holidays? We'll go back one screen. Okay. Sorry, guys. But knowing what you want and how to get there is the main key in getting continued success. So many times we have clients who actually start program even like a week before the holidays. It's not a stopper, because if people want it bad enough, they're going to say whatever it takes. So sometimes when people have clients have been on, and some of you or myself for a while, you might think, is it really that big a deal? So after tonight, I'd like you to make your own decision, because it is your journey. What do you want your ideal outcome to be? So on January 1st, when everyone else is setting New Year's resolutions and you're already down, from right now, probably another 15, 16 pounds. Is that what you want? Or do you say, nah, I'm okay right here. I'll start again in January. So just know what you want and know you can get there. So we have a few options for clients. They are not, this is not anything set in stone, but it's what has worked over the years. So the first one is, hey, do you want to just stay on program? Because you're going to be feeling great. You're going to have lots of energy, shopping, spending time with family. You know how great you feel right now, that clarity of mind and your good energy. Can you imagine going through all of the holidays and enjoying it like that? So that is a good option. You're going to even keep losing weight more, looking better, and you're going to feel so good when you go to the holiday events, because people are saying, wow, you look great. And you're like, thanks. I'm working hard at it. So you are not going to have hunger or cravings. And that's going to make it a lot easier to deal with your food triggers and alcohol triggers, if that is a tendency for you. So we can kind of talk about what that would look like on the actual holidays. We want to take one at a time. So when it was Halloween, we worked on Halloween. Right now, we just want to think of the next one, and that's Thanksgiving. And you and your coach can come up with ideas to create wonderful recipes that still keep you in the lean and green, but you don't feel deprived. So that's going to keep you in fat burning. Option 2 is, would you like a compromise? Do you want to stay on your program fully, except for those specific holiday meals? And you would use Medifast the other 5 meals a day, and one that would be your compromise meal on your holiday. Now, with this option, you are going to go out of fat burning, and it's going to take you 2 to 4 days getting back into it. And remember that depending on what you have, and most holiday foods have a lot of extra carbohydrates and sometimes sugars, starches, you may feel very exhausted, and that's going to reintroduce your craving. So just remember those first 3 days when you're on program, do you want to go back there and be there again? Again, you can, just know full on that that's what's going to happen. And you're going to slow down your weight loss because you'll lose some momentum. It takes a little while to get back in. And yeah, a little depression comes with that, just from the chemical changes, because you guys are eating so clean right now that when you reintroduce everything, it hits you a lot different than when we were living like that all the time. So is it worth it? For some of you, say absolutely. The third option is, what if you went into a maintenance mode? What that looks like is you're still not going to be in a fat burning, you're going to still eat 6 times a day, and you're going to choose MetaFast on the meals to keep the 6 meals, even. So, but maybe you would be having healthy meals, lunch and dinner, or you're controlling portion size. Remember, that is part of the habits of health, that even on our Lean and Green now, when we're on a 5 and 1 or a 4 and 2, we are controlling the size, and our body thanks us for that. So you won't be gaining weight during the season if you're following the maintenance program, because we're going to be really careful, and we're going to still be staying away from the wrong things in the types of food. Just recognizing what those types of foods do to us and why we don't really want those, and just to choose other healthier choices. So it is nice not to gain weight, but are you okay that on January 1st you're exactly where you are now? So it really becomes your choice. So decide which option you want. Design a plan with your health coach to help you achieve that. That's what we're here for. So here is something that's very interesting to consider. So we have 40 days left in the year as of today, depending on if you count today or tomorrow. But basically, 6 healthy meal choices a day. That's 240 meals for the rest of 2015. So when we start talking about whether I'm going to just not be on program for the holidays, or we're talking to one of our friends and they say, I want to do what you're doing, but I want to wait till after New Year's, something to think about is there's really not that many holiday meal choices. So sometimes we group the whole 2 months into one package. So we have a meal choice on Thanksgiving Day. We have possibly a Christmas party with your company or with your family, maybe Christmas Eve, if that's a big celebration for you, Christmas Day, and then depending on how your family or how you celebrate, New Year's Eve or New Year's Day with football. So when you think about it, that's a 5 to 7 meals out of, well, I forgot to change this, out of 240. But it's not that many. And so when you think, hey, I can get through this and I can actually thrive, that is something to consider. Not that many times of saying no. So you don't have to make an excuse, use the holidays for an excuse, but it's your decision. You can thrive through the holiday season. You can enter 2016 with momentum and the energy that comes with reaching your goals. And we're going to help you as your health coaches make the choices that are going to help support those goals. So we'll work through those together. So one of the ways to do that is what we call a structured tension chart. If you have not seen this with your, I don't know if I can make that go away. If your coach has not showed this to you, it is something great. You don't have to do it in this actual form. You can do it on a piece of paper. But really, it's about knowing what you want and what you want to create. So it needs to be measurable, right? Because if I just said, I want to feel better or I want to lose more weight, how do we know when we get there? But if you say, I want to be down 12 more pounds by December 31st, or I want to fit into my wedding dress, or I want to have the energy to run a 5K, or whatever it is that you want to achieve. And there's a lot of choices. So an example on that would be, hey, stay on my 5 and 1. I'll be down total of 47 pounds by January 1st, because maybe you've already, let me check this here. Okay. That's what you want. Okay. Now, let's talk about where you are right now. That's where the rubber hits the road. Not what you wish you to be, but sometimes just facing our current reality is the best place to help us propel forward. So where are you now? Maybe you've already lost 34 pounds and you're feeling great, but you're still having a hard time getting through the holidays, or at least thinking about getting through the holidays. So that is what your struggle is right there. Here's where you want to be. Let's see what we can do. We're going to do action steps that are going to support those goals. Those of you who have been students of Dr. Anderson's Habits of Health book, which I'm sure all of you have, he talks about primary choices and secondary choices. So knowing what you really want and why you want it makes it so much easier to make those secondary choices because they're supporting your goals. So if you are looking at the action steps of what it would take, number one, you've got to be strategic, got to be very mindful. We have to choose that about how we're going to deal with food. On some of those action steps, of course, you can talk about, I'm going to drink a minimum of 64 ounces of water. Maybe I'm going to buy new water bottle so that I can actually get in more during the holidays because, I'm going to do whatever distracts me. Getting good sleep and keeping meal replacements with you at all time. But what about an action step, which might be, hey, to get through the family party for my extended family that is, Aunt Susie's lasagna and garlic bread and cheesecake and all that, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, that's the choice I have to make. So we can actually help you create action steps to get through individual places. Okay. Really, it's about being strategic, being mindful. When we talk about the stop, challenge, and choose, it's about thinking before we eat. Why am I eating? Why am I choosing this? Because remember the new habits that we're replacing with the old habits, where just because it was coming up on the holidays and we went grocery shopping, we automatically bought all of those baking ingredients that are on the end caps of the grocery store. Or we automatically think, well, I've always made rum cake for all the neighbors. So stop and just challenge yourself about where you are for this year. So before you put anything in your mouth and before you eat, ask yourself, is this a rational eating decision or an emotional eating decision? Because it can be either one of those. Remember, we have a choice and we have to be mindful. It doesn't catch us off guard if we're aware of it and being planned. So if you want to know if it's a rational decision, hey, is eating this in my long-term best interest? I'm going to literally think about that and go, is this going to get me closer to my goal or is this going to get me farther? I'm choosing what I want more versus what I want now. If I eat this now, how will I feel an hour from now? Sure, that big old plate of sugar cookies looks amazing. But when we eat that, you know what? An hour from now, especially if you've been clean eating, you're going to be very tired, feel like taking a nap. You'll start to feel just kind of crummy, and you may even feel a little depressed. Some of it is emotionally because you're disappointed. Other times it's just a chemical change of reintroducing the sugar. And again, how will I feel a year from now if I continue to make the decisions? Because basically, every day's decisions, it's not one huge decision that gets us to health or gets us to unhealth. It's the daily small habits that get us there. And it's so easy to say tomorrow, but it's today and taking control of our health and contending for our health. So let's talk about a few strategy and tips. So when you're invited to an event gathering, remember, it's okay to say no. If you've worked very hard to get where you are, you've invested in yourself and you're on momentum. If you know that situation is going to throw you off, don't go. Treat yourself, go to a movie instead or go shopping. It's really easy also to overextend ourselves during the holidays. And when we overcommit and we're very tired, we don't make as good decisions. When we're tired, that's the most likely time that we will choose poorly. So if you notice when people are first starting program, they'll talk about, well, I do great during the day, but in the evening, everything falls loose. Guess what? We're tired then. We've already made a lot of decisions throughout the day. And so we want to be aware of that so that we're catching ourselves and making, being on purpose. So get plenty of sleep. What if your family does a traditional baking party? Okay, there's a couple things you can do. First of all, if you've always given away food gifts, which my husband and I used to give away candy, homemade candy to all of our neighbors, we have to come up with a non-edible gift. okay, what is something, whether it's dried fruits or a pretty bowl of nuts or Harry and David's, or if you want to make things, the gift of the heart is so sweet. So, a craft, or you can come up with your own ideas. So if you are at a baking party, brush your teeth with extra minty toothpaste. And you may want to do it every hour. You and I both know that when we've had something minty, or especially toothpaste, we aren't just tempted. Eat before you bake, for sure, and wash your hands frequently so that we're not touching sticky and sugary things and putting them to our mouth. And then this is a great idea, is to put Vicks under your nose. They won't smell nearly as good, and it's going to keep you focused. Make sure you're drinking your water as well. So before you go, have your written action plan. What do I want? And because there will be challenges that come, and we have to know how we're going to face those. So if you can imagine best case and worst case scenarios, be prepared for the worst. If this happens and this is the type of food that's there, or if this is the type of drinks that are served, what will I do? So it's about planning. Make sure you eat before you go, even if you're going to someone's house for a meal. Because if you've had one of your meal replacements an hour before, you're not nearly as tempted. So here is one way, is putting an action plan for thriving through this event. And this is on those times when you have a specific obstacle, the company party, grandma's at Christmas Eve. Work through this. And when you actually stop and fill in those answers yourself, that's where the creative processes come. The same way back with your structural tension chart. It's not up to your health coach to put those answers in. We need to say it ourselves, because by saying it or writing it, it engages our own goals and connects them to our brain. So when you go, instead of food, focus on your friends and family. That's what we're really there to see anyways, but somehow it got, out of proportion, and it got disorientated. So enjoy yourself, cherish grandma and grandpa and Aunt Susie or your friends from work, laugh and find fun things to do, and wear your new fitting clothes. Don't wear those sloppy things that are kind of getting saggy. Wear something that makes you look great. And that also, as people are complimenting you, that's going to also help you stay true to your program, because you just feel so good in the moment. When you go, if it's a potluck, bring your own food of something that you can eat. And if you're asked to bring snacks, choose something that you don't want to eat. So if it was a specific category and you know that that's not on your program, make sure you don't make your favorite dish. Because we can fool ourselves in thinking, oh, I won't take one bite. But guess what? There's the batter, then there's the leftover. And then when it's not all eaten, it comes back home in the dish. So do not do that. So even if the hostess said, no, thank you, don't bring anything, guess what? Just show up with a nice green salad and say, oh, I know you said not to bring anything, but I figure you can always use an extra vegetable or another side dish. Then you've prepared and you're taking care of you, because right now that's what's most important. We have lots of fun recipes, and your health coach can help you with that. Everything from revolution rolls to cauliflower to making things pretty in art, as far as display. And there's souffles and some frittatas that we share. So there's a lot of delicious recipes that don't have to be what we used to have, because remember, we're changing habits. And one of the best ways to do that is to be intentional on creating new habits. It's hard to let something go if we didn't replace it. When you go and you're at a party, position yourself away from the food, okay? So don't be in the kitchen if that's where it happens. Take your water bottle with you in your dominant hand, or if everyone is serving drinks, put sparkling water or diet ginger ale with some ice, so that you have that in your hand and you feel satisfied. It feels like a party. People, it seems like, always want someone to have a drink in their hand. So if you go get a glass with ice cubes and whether you pour sparkling water or a diet soda, whatever your choice is, people then feel like, okay, you have something. They aren't going to be bugging you anymore. Make sure that you take a small dish so that you are keeping portions, and our portions clear as we've been working on that. And remember, don't go back for seconds. No matter how good it was, it's going to be there next year. Aunt Mary's pecan pie is going to be there next year when we're at our healthy place, and we're going to have it in moderation, not like the 4 pieces that maybe we would have done in our previous, habits. Take some lean and green recipes. This is what we talked about. Make it really good, and then, take them for share, because a lot of times people think healthy means bland. It doesn't, especially if you are choosing good recipes. If you're just doing grilled chicken or baked chicken and broccoli all the time, it gets a little boring and you start feeling deprived. That's when you're more likely to fall into old patterns. So cleaning up leftovers. When you're cleaning up, and that might be a challenge, don't do it. Don't do the food. Start to put away things, offer to wash dishes, take down tables, whatever it goes. Freeze leftovers. Create your own lean and green meals and have them ready to go so that you can just pop them right out of the freezer. If you're left at your house and there is sweets or sugars or things that you've decided not to do, you have 2 choices. Some people can put it in the freezer and totally leave it alone. Other people, including me, can put something in the freezer and I'll be marching myself out there twice a day because it's calling my name. Not as much now, but a couple of years ago, definitely. And so my strategy is I'm thinking, okay, I don't need to have this in the house anyway. So you have 2 choices. You can go over and dump it in the garbage. But for some people, if there's a clean garbage bag, that might be still tempting to reach in there. But what I like to do is go over and take it to the kitchen sink and spray water all over it. So for me, there's nothing more disgusting than soggy, cookies or cake or cheesecake. You're not going to be putting your fingers in it. So, whatever it takes, garbage disposal, send it home with people if they want it, but don't let anything be left at your home. Focus on your friends and family, as we talked about, not the food. That's the most important part. Plan ahead. Be strategic. Don't go hungry. Take care of yourself. Don't be one that says, they didn't have anything I could have, or, I forgot my meal replacements. You've worked too hard. You've worked too hard to get to this point. Choose smaller plates and avoid family-style dining. Let's do the buffet. Let's go through it once. Fill our little plate with our lean and green. Go eat our meal. Drink our beverage. And you know what? You're going to actually be satisfied, but it's just different than what you've done before. And move before munching. Okay, so let's talk about that. Take a walk around the block, or even if you're at a party and you're at a family reunion, it gets kind of stuffy in there anyway. All the people talking. Make plans ahead of time with a couple of others and say, hey, after we finish eating, do you want to go just take a walk around the block? And most people are like, yeah, it feels good to be out in the fresh air. Bundle up yourself and put on your raincoat if you're here in Oregon. Take the kids out too, because they need to get their energy moving. Make your cocktails mocktails, right? It doesn't mean it can't be fun. It just means to be creative. So the Medifast sent out recipes for mocktails a few years ago, and I think we still have them on our site. So ask your health coach if you need them. But using the flavor infusers, using diet ginger ale, there's just so many fun ones. I can't even recall what they are, but they're wonderful. And the main thing is stay connected to the Bio Network, your Facebook page. You're reading those other stories of someone else succeeding. What it does is it just builds up faith in yourself that you can do it. And then stay really connected with your health coach. Mute out those. Okay. Stay really connected with your health coach during this time. Because that's where sometimes you can call off just because you felt alone. And sometimes if we get discouraged, okay. And sometimes if we get discouraged, we are less likely to call our coach. Please don't feel like you're disappointing them. You're not. They're here to walk beside you. There's no disappointment. It is your journey. But the main thing we want to do is lift your arm up and say, come on, do you want to go again? Are you ready? Because I'm here with you. So remember, you're only 1 meal replacement away from being back on program. So if you did have a hiccup, or by choice, or by emotional eating or default, remember, just have that next meal replacement on the scheduled time. Doesn't matter if you're still full from the pumpkin pie. because we need to keep that nutritional balance, the proteins and the carb balance that our wonderful meal replacements have in them. That's what keeps us from craving. So we don't want to take a chance on that. So you do not have to just survive the holidays. You can totally thrive. You can rock through these holidays. And how cool is that to go into the new year much closer to your goal, or even at your goal than you were before. So be comfortable with the options. It's your choice. It's not your health coach's choice. It's not my choice. And it is your choice, but know what you want. And think carefully, what do I really want? Do I really want to be at that healthy place that I'm desiring so that I can run and play with my kids? Do I want to be healthy enough to be the soccer coach in the spring, or to go on vacation with my family to Florida and be comfortable wearing the bathing suit? Because what that means is I'm making memories with my kids. So it's not about that first choice. It's about, why does that matter? Why does that matter? Why does that matter? Most of the time, when you get to the bottom of what really matters to us, it's about people and it's about relationships. And that's why we make the decisions to make change. We want to be here and we want to be healthy for our family. So believe in yourself and ask your health coach for support. If it means that you're texting your health coach every day, great, do it. Believe me, we are never bothered by having too much communication. We love it. So I'll stop my share here. And I hope that gave some of you some tips for the holidays. I know that you can be strong. We're going to put some of the lists up on the Facebook pages just for you to refer back to it. We'd also like to keep in mind that this is a great time to change activities. So take time to go for your family to go put on their coats and hats and walk to watch the Christmas lights instead of driving. Maybe go walk the mall instead of something else if you want to visit with a girlfriend. There are some Christmas like 5Ks, a lot of them, like here, there's like a jingle trot and there's a turkey trot. And it doesn't matter if you run or walk. It's the matter that you're there with people doing the same thing. Or even plan a turkey bowl with your family. Play football out in the field. It's just a matter of making the intentions of doing it, right? Going to get your Christmas tree the old-fashioned way on foot. Or, lots and lots of ideas. Maybe invite a bunch of friends and go ice skating. How long has it been since we've done that? Silly, fun things that make you laugh and bring memories. So I hope this has been of help to you. Sorry, my last word is just departing me. But I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. And we're going to thrive through the holidays. Remember, not survive. It's a new year. It's a new us.